this webinar. Just hit OK on that it's being recorded. Oh, just a few housekeeping items as we cover this each time. Everybody has been muted upon entry. That's, of course, to avoid any of the background noise. And at the end of the webinar, there will be a short anonymous survey, so we'd appreciate your feedback. And again, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please chat directly to Kristen. And like she said, everybody who registered, whether you could attend the webinar or not today, will receive a link to the recording in just a few days. You will also receive copies of the recipes that are in the presentation today. All right, we're talking about healthy meals for busy lives. So we're going to have some fun today we're going to do a delicious journey into healthy cooking and meal prep. Oh, keep in mind, the information provided in this presentation is intended solely for the general information of the audience. It's not medical advice and shall not replace consultation with your physician or other qualified health provider. If you have any health-related questions or problems, please seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider. Although I will not be providing any medical information today, it's all about cooking and meal prep. We know that can be a challenge, but don't worry. During this webinar, I'm going to focus on quick and easy dishes for busy weeknights. I'm going to cover some tips on how you can maintain your healthy eating habits on the go. We're going to watch some informative videos where I share some of my tips for easy meal ideas. Just want to warn you, I am a home cook, not a Michelin star chef, but I hope that you will leave with some practical pointers and the recipes to make healthy eating simple and, of course, enjoyable. I'm busy. You're busy. We're all busy. So how can we address some of the challenges of meal planning and cooking? Well, the number one challenge, of course, is time. Busy schedules often lead to unhealthy food choices. So you have to expect the unexpected, that meeting that ran late, or the traffic. You've got a stress headache, or you get home and nothing sounds good. You skipped lunch and now you're starving. Does any of that sound familiar? The solution is to batch cook on the weekends. You also want to focus in on quick recipes like stir fries or one sheet pan meals. Also, I like to use the slow cooker, even in the summer, because that doesn't give off the heat like an oven. Or Instapot. It's much faster than a crock pot, and it makes for easy hands-off meals. What about stress? Stress can make meal planning feel overwhelming, again, leading to unhealthy choices. What am I going to make? Do you stop at the grocery store after work every day? And then maybe you don't have time to prep, to wash the veggies and chop, mix, or pour. Well, the solution is simplifying your meals. Prep those ingredients in advance and approach cooking as a stress relieving activity. You could use mindfulness techniques to stay in the moment. Also, decision fatigue, having to constantly decide, what am I going to make for my meals? This can really feel like a chore. I don't know what's for dinner. You can't find anything to make. And then when you finally decide, you don't have the ingredients. That's when you pick up your phone, ring, ring. I'd like to order some food to go, please. The solution is using theme nights like Taco Tuesday and to pre-plan your meals. Stick with kind of a limited choices of go-to recipes. That way, when you're in a hurry, this is not the time to try a new recipe. Also, it's important to eat healthy, as we know, but that can be a challenge as well. Stress, time pressure. Again, it's so much easier just to go through the drive-through, right? And then you say to yourself, I'll plan something tomorrow. Then when tomorrow comes, you forgot you had plans with friends. So again, no time to cook. The solution is to prioritize whole foods, aim for simple, nutrient dense meals, and keep those healthy snacks available. You also want to stay hydrated. That way, you can avoid the confusion between, am I really hungry? Or am I just thirsty? Or am I just tired or bored or angry? That helps prevent emotional eating. Cooking for one. This actually can be a challenge. It can feel really inefficient. There's so much food for just one person. Or it could feel lonely, leading to reliance on processed food. Oh, I'll just heat up a meal in the microwave. Well, I find this challenging when my teens aren't home or my husband is traveling. Why am I cooking? It's just me. So I guess it's going to be cheese puffs and wine tonight, right? Well, the solution is I usually know in advance when this is going to happen. So already having something ready in the freezer, like 1 or 2 servings, is super helpful. And it helps keeping my meals really simple. I could do like a Cobb salad. You just put it together. Now, if this is your permanent situation, then enjoy the freedom to cook exactly what you want. Or you can invite family and friends over to cook. Things like make your own pizza, chili night, or a baked potato bar. And then you can plan for some leftovers. Even a simple charcuterie board with lean meats, some cheese, maybe some nuts, crackers, dried fruit, and jam. That's really fun. It's also a very social way to enjoy a simple meal. And best of all, requires no cooking. Also, look for recipes that can be prepared in under 30 minutes. And okay, this is my first video. Try not to laugh. I am going to show you how quick and easy it is to save time by cooking both the main dish and the side dish in the oven at the same time. Hello, Laura Maloof Miller from HealthNet. I am dressed like I'm actually cooking in the kitchen today, but I'm not. I'm going to be talking about some quick, easy meal prep that you can do for busy weeknights. And I've got a busy schedule, so what I like to do is take a look at my calendar to see, hey, Monday night I've got tap dancing. Tuesday night, maybe I've got something else, or the kids have something. So I take a look at my calendar because I'm a planner. So I like to know what I'm going to have for the week and which nights should I cook on and which nights should I plan to have leftovers. So I'm really old school. I literally put my meals that I'm going to have for the week on this little piece of paper that I then put on the refrigerator so I can best plan what I'll have when, because some things take a little bit longer to cook, other things are really quick. So one of my favorite meals, nice and quick, is just to bake a piece of salmon. So depending on how many people you're serving, you're just for yourself or for your entire family, whatever I'm cooking, a night that I'm cooking, then I like to have either that leftovers for lunch the next day or for dinner the next day as well. So could not be simpler than this. This is just a piece of frozen salmon that I got at Sam's Club. I would just go ahead and put it in my baking dish. And what I would do is I like to top it with some salt and some pepper. That's usually about it. I can put a little olive oil in the bottom of the pan, which is heart healthy for you. You want to make sure you're using the one that is for cooking and stir frying. So a little bit of olive oil on the bottom just so that it doesn't stick, or you could use some Pam, and then you would just go ahead and bake it from frozen. Some people like to have a little bit of maybe a topping other than just salt and pepper. So you could mix a little bit of olive oil, again, heart healthy, with some different spices. So just this is garlic pepper, some basil. If you don't have a fresh lemon, lemon juice is just as good. So these are cooking with things that are in my pantry. So you'd make kind of a little bit of a dressing, maybe some little bit of a parsley on that, or basil, but dill is really good for fish as well. So you would just make a little bit of that, brush it on the top, and then you would bake this in a 400-degree oven until it's nice and opaque and ready to go. Then I would pair that with another one of my really easy dishes that you can actually put both of these together in the same oven, is to roast some vegetables. So it's whatever vegetables you have in the house. So a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of the pan. I happen to have a zucchini. I like to do this two different ways. I either stack it like a lasagna. So I would cut these into rounds. I use a tomato. If I have sweet potato, I will slice that in a round as well, or a russet potato. Sometimes if I can find Chinese eggplant, which is long and thin, I will cut that as well after I peel it. And then I'll either like stack it in a row, kind of like cards, potato, mushrooms, maybe onion, and then the zucchini. And then I just keep stacking it, or I lay it flat like lasagna. So a layer of zucchini, then a layer of mushrooms, then a layer of tomato. And then I'll put in between, like about after three layers or so, I'll put another drizzle of some olive oil, some salt, some pepper, maybe some garlic powder, whatever you prefer, maybe some basil. If you happen to have fresh basil, that'd be great to lay on here as well. So then I just stack it, and then on the top, I will just put a little bit more olive oil, and then I will bake this. So it can be, you can put a little bit of potatoes. Diced potatoes is another thing that I will do, or a diced sweet potato with mushrooms, with a diced onion, whatever vegetables you happen to have in the house that will roast well. You just need a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper, maybe any other seasonings that you prefer. So you can do both salmon and the vegetables roasted in a 400-degree oven, maybe about 20-25 minutes until they're nice and cooked. And then sometimes with the vegetables too, when they come out, I do like to top them with a little bit of mozzarella cheese. So this is a reduced fat mozzarella cheese, just a little bit, sprinkles, it melts, and it makes it for a nice dish. So that's a really quick, easy dinner. I'll be right back with just another one. Hello. All right, so moving right along, do keep in mind that I do these videos in one take, so if I happen to mess up, oh well. All right, so you've just been to the grocery store or maybe the farmer's market, and you brought home these fresh fruits and vegetables. So how can you make the most of them? Hopefully you brought only what you plan to use for the week. That way they won't spoil before you use them. So you want to save yourself some time by not having to constantly wash or prep your fruits, vegetables, and herbs each time you want to use them. So it's really important to do this ahead of time. This works great for a quick salad. You can just toss those veggies with a bag of salad. I like to use shredded carrots, pre-cut radishes, even sliced mushrooms. I'll even grab cut celery and some carrots with some salad dressing and maybe a slice of cheese for a quick snack. I will also make hard-boiled eggs ahead of time. Also sliced cucumbers, celery, baby carrots. That goes really great with some homemade hummus. I also have berries, low-fat granola, chopped nuts, and spices like cinnamon or pumpkin pie spice. And I like to top my Greek yogurt with those items. Also, I like to make ahead what I call like a breakfast burrito filling, ground chicken, some onions, maybe some mild green chilies, olives, mix this with a little bit of the taco seasoning or salsa. So I scramble that with eggs. I can totally do this ahead of time, and then it's really ready to go for a quick breakfast during the week. I also use the same ingredients in multiple ways. For instance, fajitas one night. Well, those same ingredients make great pizza toppings another night. So I already slice and dice extra for my pizza toppings ahead of time. I bag them up, and then of course I got them ready to go. Also, you can use passive cooking techniques. Think about the crock pot, rice cooker, Instapot, or air fryer. You know, these items do the cooking for you, which of course saves you valuable time. I try to pick items that don't have any prep time. So like pre-washed mixed greens, potatoes, cherry tomatoes. It's common that you can find shaved Brussels sprouts, cubed butternut squash, riced cauliflower, coleslaw mix, even the prepackaged vegetables like asparagus, squash, green beans, pea pods. Those are perfect for a stir fry or simply just toss them in a salad. You can also use frozen vegetables as well. Those are great for soups and stews. And I like to add frozen fruit to my smoothies because that will add thickness. All right. This one is if you're feeling like Mexican food, here is a quick way to make a salsa chicken bowl. All right. It does not get any simpler than this. Busy weeknights, I like to use my crock pot. Whether I'm in the office or working at home, this cooks all day and I'm ready to go for dinner. So I'm making salsa chicken. Really, 2 ingredients. I'm taking some frozen skinless chicken breasts. I'll just place as many as I want for how many servings that I want into my crock pot. And then I'm going to add some salsa. So depending on what kind of salsa that you like, you just pour it. I pour a little bit into the empty crock pot. Then I place my chicken and then I pour the salsa over the chicken and I cook it, you know, all day on low. Then when I'm ready to eat it, it's soft. I can quickly shred it. So I will make like a chicken bowl, salsa chicken bowl. So then I will top that with things like lettuce or olives, a little bit of Mexican cheese I'll put on the top. If you have more salsa or pico de gallo is great. If you want to cut up a jalapeno and put that in there. So I'll do some salsa. I'll do some green onion. If you wanted to do like a can of pinto beans, you want to make sure that you rinse those off first. Those can be high in sodium. And then, of course, you want to warm that up. And so you just make a salsa bowl. And this is very high in protein, so it will definitely fill you up. But super simple, super easy. Oh. All right, so here are some healthy convenience foods that are nutritious and easy to prepare, and they're great for busy lifestyles. Greek yogurt, so that's going to be high in protein and probiotics, and this is a great way, a great option for a quick breakfast or a snack. You should look for the plain varieties to avoid any of the added sugars, and of course, you could always sweeten it with honey or some fresh fruit. The canned beans and legumes, these are quick, they're affordable sources of protein and fiber. Make sure to rinse those in order to reduce the sodium content before you add to salads or soups. You can't beat the rotisserie chicken, total time saver. So lean source of protein. Of course, you can just top it with your salads. You can do it in a wrap, or you can just eat it with a side of vegetables for a super quick meal. Make sure to remove the skin if you're watching the saturated fat. So removing the skin will help you to cut down on that. Whole grain crackers. Now, this is really great paired with like a nut butter, like almond or peanut butter. This is going to make both a filling and a healthy snack. Going to offer you both the fiber, protein, and of course, some healthy fats. You just want to make sure, of course, you choose wisely. You don't want the first ingredient in the back of the label to be sugar. You want it to be nuts. And then the frozen berries, super versatile, can be added to smoothies on top of your oatmeal or your yogurt. It's going to give you a burst of antioxidants and vitamins. Also, the veggie burgers or plant-based patties. These are quick. They're healthy alternatives to traditional burgers. And you want to look for varieties with whole foods like black beans, quinoa, or lentils. Also, the protein or energy bars, you want to make sure that you opt for bars that have minimal added sugar and have whole ingredients. You want to check the label to make sure that you can find a good option that provides you with protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Cottage cheese is another great one. That's a dairy, but it's also a great source of protein. And it could, of course, be eaten as a snack on its own or mixed with fruit, nuts, or seeds for a balanced option. I also like salsa and guacamole. You can find these pre-made. And so you want to pair these with some veggies or some whole grain chips. Lots of fiber in there. The salsa is going to be fat-free. And the guacamole, that's made from the avocado. So that is high in fat, but it's a heart-healthy fat. And also the pre-made kits. The supermarkets, I buy these a lot. The salad kits, they've already got the pre-washed greens. They come with, of course, some toppings and dressings. You just want to choose the ones that are nutrient-dense greens. You also want to watch out for that dressing. It's best to serve it on the side and then to dip into it. And eggs, as we know, those are a quick, healthy, versatile convenience food, can be done in just a few minutes. About 70 calories per egg. You can scramble or boil or add them to salads. And they're a great way that, because they have a lot of protein, will help you stay full and satisfied. And they last long in the refrigerator. And I know they're expensive right now. So if you're looking for other sources of protein, the Greek yogurt, like making a smoothie, you can add some protein powder to that. But you can also make meals using tofu, cheddar cheese, almonds. Think of black beans, peanut butter, lean meats, and fish. All, again, good sources of protein. All right, so let's take a look at how easily it is to make some tortilla soup. You'll have plenty of this for leftovers for lunch and dinner the next day. Another super easy recipe I like to make is tortilla soup. And so I'm basically just taking my stock pot, again, as many servings as you need or want. I'll take some chicken broth, low sodium, if you're watching your sodium. Again, I don't really even measure. It just depends on how much that you want. So I put some chicken broth into my pan, and then I will have defrosted some chicken breasts, skinless, boneless chicken breasts. I will have diced that up. And once this starts to boil, I will then put the diced chicken in it along with a can of tomato sauce. And then I'll put some chili powder in there. And that's it. I just boil it. It's got chicken broth, tomato sauce, chicken, and the chili powder. So I will boil it. The real fun part is when you get to do the tortilla soup part, all the toppings. So I will put some fresh chopped cilantro in there. You can put jalapenos if you would like. If you've got salsa, you want to put that in there. I do like to dice up a block of pepper jack cheese, or you can just go with mozzarella or a Monterey Jack cheese. I'll put that actually in my bowl first, and then I will top it with the soup so it melts. And then once the soup is in there, so I would do maybe some tortilla chips. I would do pico de gallo if you have that, or some salsa. I would do a little bit of sour cream if you would like that. You can go with a fat-free or a low-fat, light sour cream, and it makes a nice bowl of soup. And this is sort of low in protein. It's just got the chicken in it. So you'll need to pair this with something like, you can have a few chips and salsa, or maybe like a quesadilla, which has got some cheese in there. I also like to pair this with a salad. So I would do just a salad and put a lot of veggies and things in there as well. And then I make a salsa ranch dressing, a little bit of ranch dressing, a little bit of salsa. I mix it together, and you've got a salsa ranch dressing for your salad. All right, this next one is a quick soup. This is wonton soup. All right, back to another quick and easy dinner meal for a busy weeknight. I like to make wonton soup. Well, I'm cheating because I'm using the pre-made little mini wontons. So you can make this recipe both with like a pork dumpling or just a vegetable dumpling. Make it vegetarian if you prefer. So again, start with my pot, and depending on how many people you are serving, and so you can go with a chicken broth, or you want to make it vegetarian. Of course, you can go with a vegetable broth as well. The secret to making it taste like a wonton soup is I like to add the ginger in it and a little bit of soy sauce. You can go with a low sodium soy sauce too if you're watching your sodium. And you're basically just boiling it, and you're adding a lot of different vegetables. So I like to use cans of bamboo shoots. So you want to rinse this off. I also use a can of sliced water chestnuts. Sometimes I will put in cooked shrimp as well. And I also like to use bok choy, so that'll be fresh, that you'll need to wash that and also chop it and put it into your pan. And you're just boiling all of this. You want to add the wontons kind of at the last minute because they don't take as long. Sometimes the stalks of the bok choy will take a little longer because they are thicker than the leaves. So you're going to put all those ingredients into your pot, and then you're going to add the little mini wontons. Again, they're frozen. You can add them frozen, and then you just cook it all up, and you've got some wonton soup for yourself. Now, you kind of need to eat this right away. I don't like it the next day because the wontons have gotten really soft, and I don't like that texture. So it's just something that you want to finish the night that you make it. So hopefully this was helpful for some quick and easy meal plans for you. I like to plan ahead, and then I try to use ingredients that I already have in my pantry or in my refrigerator. So quick, easy meals. All right, no time to cook. The day got away from you. You worked late. You've been rushing home. There's nothing in the cupboards. You forgot to meal plan. Okay, that's called life. And I'm not saying you can't have a burger and French fries, but you do want to save that, for an occasional treat. So using these tips to make healthier options when you're looking at, takeout or fast food. Every day we have choices. So when dining out or grabbing food to go, you can go with a salad with grilled proteins and a dressing on the side. Either skip the sides or share a side. So I'm talking things like French fries, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes with gravy. It's better, of course, to go with a side salad or fruit. And try not to drink your calories. I'm talking about milkshakes, full sugar soda, hot chocolate, those coffee drinks. They offer loads of calories with not much nutrition or anything to keep you full. So a better option would be like an unsweetened tea, water, diet drinks, hot tea, sparkling water, even low fat or skim milk. Then, of course, you want to have healthy snacks. You got this maybe in your bag, in the car, in your backpack or your purse. You want to stock up on things like plain mixed nuts. You want to watch out for the sodium for that, though. So if that's an issue for you, a protein bar, some fresh fruit, maybe like a Skinny Pop popcorn, some whole grain crackers. Always make sure you have a little healthy snack or a meal, when you're traveling. Or when you have the back-to-back meetings, things like string cheese and crackers, fruit, nuts, maybe even just like a little bit of peanut butter with an apple or a trail mix. That includes, nuts, dried fruit. You'd want to watch out for the dried fruit though, because that is the sugars are concentrated in that. But if you just have a little bit on the portion. So there were some tips on healthy eating on the go. All right, this is a fun recipe. This actually makes you feel like you're kind of cheating with eating a fried food, but actually this one is baked. So it's a healthier version of a favorite appetizer or even a side dish. Hi, everybody. Laura Miller with HealthNet. I'm cooking in the kitchen today. This is a recipe called fried zucchini, and It's an appetizer or can be used as a side dish as well. And it's healthier because I'm actually not frying the zucchini. I'm going to be putting the wedges of zucchini, like zucchini fries, fried zucchini fries. I'm going to be putting this in the oven. I imagine you could probably do this in the air fryer if you had one of those, but I'm just going to follow along with the recipe. Well, I'm sort of following along with the recipe as much as I can. Cute picture here in the front. This is actually a Weight Watchers recipe. And so what I did was I took one medium-sized zucchini and I sliced it up best I could in half and then long side as well, and tried to make these cute little triangle shapes. But I did the best I could, about 3 inches in length of your fresh zucchini. And then I put together in a bowl. This is 1.5 tablespoons of flour. And then it asked for Italian seasoning. Well, I didn't have Italian seasoning. I don't know why I seem to do recipes on video that when I don't actually have all the ingredients and that I've never done before. So here we go. So I improvised. There's some garlic powder in here. There's some paprika. I did have a seasoning of pepper and garlic together. If you're watching your salt, you may want to use something like a Mrs. Dash. So I sort of followed the recipe. So it said a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. So I made up my own. I actually had some seasoning from Red Robin for the French fries. So I put a little bit of that in there too. If you wanted to spice it up, maybe you could put some cayenne pepper in there, some red pepper if you would like to do that. Some salt went in there. And then in this other dish, I have panko crumbs. So these are plain. Panko crumbs are a Japanese breadcrumb. And then the recipe asked for a tablespoon of oil in here as well, so that the panko crumbs would kind of adhere to each other. So I did that. I didn't exactly measure the panko crumbs. Well, I did, but then at the bottom of my panko crumb box, I had just a little bit left over. So I just threw the whole thing in. And because of that, I did end up having to add a little bit more olive oil to it to make sure that the crumbs would stick together. So olive oil, of course, is a fat, but it's a heart healthier fat versus if you were to like use melted butter or something in here. Okay, so they stuck together. And then as you can see on my baking sheet, I did a few. Oh, and then 2 egg whites. I actually had to use a hand mixer. It's something a kitchen item I don't use very often, but I managed to do it well. And so 2 egg whites beat with on medium until soft peaks were created. So I've been using mine already. And so that kind of looks like clouds to me. So basically what you do is you take, they said a couple pieces at a time, you put it into the flour seasoning mixture. This is super great if you have young kids and want to get messy in the kitchen. This is nice and messy. So I put it in the flour mixture and then I dipped it into the egg whites, which actually look like clouds. This is probably a meringue or something like that. But I don't really know. I've never made a meringue before. So it kind of looks like that to me. So you're trying to get these fluffy clouds to stick, your egg white to stick to your zucchini piece. And then you put it in the panko and oil mixture and you kind of just push it down so that it adheres to it and makes it really cute. All right. And then that goes onto your dish like that. And so let me just do one more piece for you. And then I'm going to wash my hands and get this into my oven. The oven is preheating at 425. That's going to give it a nice crisp, nice warm oven. It's going to give it a crisp. And then the recipe said about halfway through, I'm supposed to turn these guys. All right. So here's my, okay, yeah. All right, zucchini piece in the egg white, which looks like clouds. And then I'm going to just push it down. That's a culinary term. Push it down into this so the crumbs will adhere to it. All right, so, okay, that's about all I'm going to do for right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and put them in the oven. So let me just quickly wash my hands so I can hit the pause button on this. On my Zoom. So I'll be right back. after these are in the oven cooking. All right, I'm back. I put them on a really nice dish because a nice plate, because eating is a full sensory experience. So not only does the food look appetizing, just the way you put it on a nice plate looks good too. Anyway, a couple things I forgot to tell you. One was on your baking dish, your cookie sheet, you need to put some parchment paper before you put your zucchini on there. So you may have seen that as I was doing the cookie sheet, the parchment paper was on. The other thing is right before you put it into the oven, you're supposed to spray them a little light spray of some cooking oil. I think that's to help it look like it's brown, which it did help it to brown, which it did. I'm using extra virgin olive oil. I just did a light spray, and then I did bake it for 12 minutes, but I timed it for 6, and then I turned them over. So they do have a nice crust on them, crunchy. They do look like they are fried. They've got a nice golden brown to them as well. And then also another quick tip, as we're busy weeknights trying to cook, when you run out of something, make sure that you put it on your grocery list so that you can get it the next time you want to make something like this and you're running out of time, or you didn't plan ahead, that you'll have the item in your refrigerator or your pantry, whichever. I would serve this with as either a side dish or as an appetizer. I would serve it with either like some fat-free sour cream if you're watching your calories. Maybe I would add a little bit of fresh dill or onion in that, or even a little bit of a packet of like ranch seasoning mix. That will be high in sodium, but if you do just a little bit and mix it around, you could also do this with salsa, which is fat-free, or even guacamole. And you can also use different types of vegetables with this. So you could do a yellow squash with this. You could even do a green tomato, something that you would typically fry. You can use this recipe for. So this was a Weight Watchers recipe, and a serving is actually 10 fries of the zucchini fries. Thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed. All right, so let's take a look at some quick and easy meal ideas. I've got another short video to show you or to inspire you on some simple and delicious dishes. Whoops. Back. All right, so this is a side dish that you can make ahead of time.
It's Laura's Cooking in the Kitchen. I am going to be having a dinner party tomorrow, so I always try to do things ahead of time. So what I'm showing you today is an asparagus side dish. It's really nice for the holidays, but it can actually be used any time of the year as a side dish. So I have a glass pan here, and I have cut and washed my asparagus. So I am having a dinner party, so I'm doing enough for at least 6 people. So what I did is washed and trimmed on the asparagus, and I'm just trying to line it up here in my dish. So this was about two bunches of asparagus. And so I'm just layering it right here in along the dish here. This, we eat with our eyes, all of our senses. So because the green color in this, and then wait till we get to the tomatoes, bright colors. And so eating it should be a full sensory experience. So we should be able to enjoy what the food looks like before we even taste it or smell it. So that's it. I'm just lining up the asparagus on my glass dish here. That is good. You guys can see that. Now I'm going to top it with a little bit of olive oil. This is a heart healthy fat. You want to make sure you use the one that's for sauteing and cooking. And so I'm just going to drizzle a little bit of this over my asparagus. Again, you know me, guys, I don't usually measure. And then I'm going to add some salt and some pepper. Now, if you're watching your sodium, you can go with a salt-free like a Mrs. Dash or seasoning that is salt-free. So a little bit of salt and some pepper on here. And now I just want to toss this in the olive oil to make sure that all the asparagus gets coated in the olive oil. So we're going to be baking this. So we want a nice roast. So roasting of the vegetables, you want to make sure that olive oil is coated all over the asparagus. So just a quick toss is all you need to do. Again, I'm actually not serving this today. I'm preparing it for tomorrow. So that's another time-saving tip. So that tomorrow when I'm entertaining, this is ready to go. So this was olive oil, salt, and pepper. And then what I'm going to do is layer in the middle. I had some fresh Parmesan cheese. You can use like shaved Parmesan if you want, but I had some fresh, so I grated it. So again, super versatile, however you want to do it. So to make it look really cute, you line it up right in the middle here of the dish, the best that you can. I'm going to say this is probably about 4 ounces of cheese, but again, you'll need to just eyeball it depending on how many servings that you are making. Look how cute that is right in the center. The last ingredient is tomatoes. Now the recipe asked for to use the small little cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes and then cut those in half. But I don't like those. So I'm using a 2 Roma tomatoes and I diced them. So I'm adding a little bit of olive oil to the tomatoes, just a couple times around there. And then I am using some jarred garlic. If you have fresh garlic, you can use that as well. Just a little bit to toss in with the tomatoes. My family doesn't like a whole lot of garlic, so I did probably a half a teaspoon or so. So depending on how much garlic you like, again, you can either use fresh and chop it up or the jar. I suppose if you didn't have either, you could probably just use some garlic powder. That would work too. All right, so I'm just tossing it around a little bit. Olive oil and garlic in there. In my diced, these are 2 diced Roma tomatoes, but again, you can use the grape tomatoes or cherry tomatoes. And of course, to try and make it look really pretty, you try and get it into the center as best you can. Just like that. Look how cute that is. So again, it could be for a holiday dish, could be for a side dish, could be a party. You may want to bring this to a party or just have it with a dinner meal. And so what I would do now is put this into the oven at a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes, till you can see that the asparagus is cooked. I got 2 bunches here, so it may take a little bit more than that. But for now, I'm actually not going to cook this. I'm going to cover it with some tin foil and I'm going to put it in my refrigerator. Then it'll be ready to go tomorrow when I am with my friends and entertaining. Last step, if you wanted to, is that balsamic glaze, which is like a balsamic vinegar, but it's much more condensed. So the sugar content is much higher. That would be like the finishing touch once it is all cooked, to just put that on there. I don't have any of that, and so I'm not going to be doing that tomorrow for my dish. So thank you so much for watching. All right, this is a crustless quiche. And for those, we are just about to run out of time. So those who need to drop off, feel free to do that. We will have all of these recipes on healthnet.com. All right. Hi, everybody. Laura Maloof Miller here with HealthNet. I am doing Laura's Cooking in the Kitchen again. I am actually cooking today. I am doing a quick, easy, versatile, crustless quiche. We know the crust has a lot of excess calories. So if we're watching our calories, this is a simple, easy way to have a few less calories, although I wouldn't say this recipe is super low calorie. It is high in protein with the eggs in there, and I've got some vegetables that I'm putting in there as well. So feel free to adjust the recipe as you like. Crustless quiche. The first thing I'm starting out with was I have this pie pan, So you kind of do need either like a quiche dish. So it's got a lip on here, or a pie pan, or something with even rectangle, whatever kind of pan that's got this kind of a deeper side on it. So I have already sprayed it with my cooking spray. And so I'm pretty much ready to go. Now the recipe asked for some diced ham. I didn't have any diced ham, so I went with some bacon that I chopped up pretty small, some already cooked. So it's a already cooked bacon. If you're going to add something that would be raw, like bacon or a sausage, I would cook it first. So, but if you have ham, then you can go ahead and use ham. Of course, if you don't want any meat in there, you can, of course, leave all of the meat out and make it simply vegetarian. So it asked for some broccoli. Again, I didn't have broccoli in the house, but I'm going to be making some pizza later this week, another quick, easy prep for busy weeknights. So I had a Roma tomato that I cut up. I had some mushrooms, so I added that. And then I also had a bell pepper. So I chopped this up and did some extra so that I could quickly make pizzas probably tomorrow or later in the week. I've got my oven preheating at 350. And so I'm simply going to add these ingredients to my dish here. Now, feel free, another really great idea would be very thinly sliced zucchini, or yellow squash would be great in here. I often like to cook also with sweet potato because I like that sweet taste. So you would dice that up as well, or onion. Sometimes even the green onion mixed in here will have these really nice, pretty colors. So whatever you choose to do, I have already washed my hands. So I'm just going to guide this into my dish here. Just like that. So again, this was bacon and mushrooms, green bell pepper. Yeah, okay, yeah, so that looks good. I'm just gonna just toss it in there. Okay, so that's what this looks like. And then we are going to add the like custard part of it, because a quiche is different than a frittata. Frittata is more spongy. The quiche should be more on the creamy side. So what I did was, it says add 5 eggs. So I already cracked the eggs. So that wasn't, well, you can't really even see them. But anyway, it wasn't very pretty. So I'm glad I did it off of the camera. So I've got 5 eggs in here. I'm pretty sure I don't have any more shells left in there, but oh well, it's a little extra fiber for my family. And then it said to put 2/3 cup of milk, 2% milk. If you want to go with fat-free, you're welcome to do that as well. Again, because I've got bacon in here, that is more salty. So if you're watching your sodium, you may want to choose something else. So I've got 2% milk. You could go with 1% whole milk, whatever you prefer. Those different types of milk will, of course, add additional fat. So this is 2% milk, and then 1/4 of a cup of half and half cream. So you just need just a little bit to give it that creamy texture. And I didn't have half and half, but you can buy fat-free half and half if that is important to you. I had heavy whipping cream, so I'm just putting a little tiny bit in there. So I did put 1/4 of a cup. So these are the 2 milks that I'm going to pour into the eggs. So this is going to make your sort of like custardy filling. So I'm just going to beat this up like this. And then it said some salt and pepper. So I'm just going to put a little pepper in here as well. You season as you like. Maybe some other seasonings you might want. Mrs. Dash is like a salt-free. If you're looking for that, you could put Mrs. Dash in here. I'm just putting a little tiny bit of the salt because my bacon is already salty. And you could use a vegan sausage. You could use like ham, it said, or you could use any other kind of meat, maybe some chicken or something, whatever you prefer. Just make sure that stuff is cooked before you put it in here. My bacon is already cooked. All right, so some salt and some pepper went in there. It asked for a pinch of nutmeg. I don't have nutmeg, so I won't be using that. All right, and then I'm just going to pour it right into my dish here, right on the top, so you can see that. And then I'm just going to kind of push it down. That is a culinary term. Push this down with my whisk here. And that looks super cute. And it's super colorful as well. You can see that. And then it said just to top it with a little bit of cheese. It said 1 cup of fresh grated cheese. It could be anything, Swiss, cheddar, Gouda, feta. I happen to have some Mexican Fiesta cheese here. It's saying, how much did it say? A cup. My dish is kind of small. I don't think I'm going to put a whole cup on there. So I'm just going to, like I normally do, don't measure. Okay, just put this on here. A little bit of cheese up on the top. You know what would look really nicely on this too is some parsley. Or like I said, the green onion would look really pretty on the top as well, give it some additional color. So that's what it looks like. And then I am going to just pop this into the oven. I am actually going to put it on a cookie tray because I don't know how this is going to rise. I always seem to do recipes that I've actually never done before. So I've never done this. So I am going to just put it on a cookie tray here because I don't want it to spill over in my oven. And that would be something that would probably happen to me, that it would spill over. So it says bake it for 35 to 40 minutes until the center is set. So with the magic of TV, I'll be back in just a minute. All right, I'm back. I just got my quiche out of the oven. The recipe had said to, oops, there you can see it, to cook it for 35 to 40 minutes. So I had actually 30 to 35 to 40 minutes. So I did put it in for 35 minutes. It was not set in the middle. So I ended up putting it back in my oven for about 10 more minutes. And then because I was completely paranoid, I used the cake tester to put in there and just to make sure that it came out clean, as well as I pushed on it as well to make sure that it was firm. So it looks good. It smells delicious. There are a lot of different pans that you can use. The recipe also said you could do the little individual ramekins if you wanted to, but you just want to make sure the dish is high on the sides, although mine did not really rise that much. So I had put it on a baking sheet in the oven just in case it was going to rise, but it really didn't. So that worked out really well. I would serve this, of course, for a breakfast, a brunch. I would even use it for a light dinner. We're all busy and want to do things that are really quick. So you could serve this with maybe a cup of soup or a side salad. If you wanted to double the recipe, if you're going to a party, this would make a really good appetizer or a brunch item as well. So you'll each get a copy of the recipe. I got this from skinnytaste.com, and a serving is 1/6 of this round pie. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar at this time. I got one other recipe, but they're all going to be on healthnet.com. So in the interest of time, and I appreciate you all joining me today, all of this information will be on healthnet.com. And also Kristen will send out the recording link in just a couple of days. So you'll have the slide deck, and then access to all of the recipes as well will be attached in the email. So again, thank you so much for your time. And we hope you will join us next month. For now, go ahead and exit from the webinar. Thank you.